Pete Hegseth, the beleaguered Secretary of Defense, just sunk his own battleship because a video has surfaced from 2016 in which he says two things that are contrary to the position he's taking now. One is that there are abject war crimes that have to be punished, and that there is a no lawful way for people in the military to follow illegal orders of the commander-in-chief. We agree with Pete Hegseth of 2016. The problem is that Pete Hegseth of 2025 is now saying something different. He's saying that people who are in the Senate and the House, like Senator Mark Kelly, should be court-martialed because they said the exact same thing about not following illegal orders under the Code of Military Justice. Let me play you back to back the video of Pete Hegseth that now has surfaced from 2016 and the one by Mark Kelly and others in the House and the Senate under the rubric, "Don't give up the ship," in order to remind members of the military that it is illegal for them to follow illegal, unconstitutional orders of the commander-in-chief. And now you know the reason that they've sent out that video. Let's play first the video from Pete Hegseth. By the way, you're on Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. Hit that free subscribe button. Let's see the 2016 video of Pete Hegseth, and we're going to follow it back to back with the "Don't Give Up the Ship" video that just came out in the last week or two that everybody in the Trump administration is all hot and bothered about, calling them treasonous, calling them traitorous, saying that they should be hanged and court-martialed. Let's play the back-to-back videos.
I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief. There's a standard, there's an ethos, there's a belief that we are above what so many things that our enemies or others would do.
All right, now that brings us to the acts of war and war crimes committed by Pete Hegseth. Washington Post is standing by its story that Pete Hegseth gave the kill command to double tap a shipwrecked boat with two human beings hanging off the back of it, who were defenseless, who were faced the other way when missiles came streaming in from a drone. And that is a war crime. A war crime that, as you can see from Pete Hegseth's own clip, he believes needs to be prosecuted. And we agree. Now, instead of doing that, you've got Pete Hegseth trying to use the fog of war defense. Oh, it was the fog of war. Oh, there's a lot of smoke. Oh, I saw the first video. I didn't see the second video. I don't know about the two men on the back of the boat. Let's watch his pandering to the audience during a cabinet meeting in the last 48 hours. Play the clip.
I watched that first strike log. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do, and by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. So he sunk the boat, sunk the boat and eliminated the threat.
So you didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike? You personally?
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded in fire or smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't understand. You sit in your air-conditioned offices or up on Capitol Hill and you nitpick and you plant fake stories in the Washington Post about kill everybody, phrases on anonymous sources not based in anything, not based in any truth at all. And then you want to throw out really irresponsible terms about American heroes, about the judgment that they made. I wrote a whole book on this topic because of what politicians and the press does to warfighters. President Trump has empowered commanders to do what is necessary, which is dark and difficult things in the dead of night on behalf of the American people. We support them, and we will stop the poisoning of the American people.
And then you got sleepy Donald Trump next to him, who could barely stay up long enough to watch this orchestrated J-off, if you know what I mean, meeting of the cabinet, in which they all took turns praising the fearless leader, like some North Korean propaganda video. They woke up sleepy Donald Trump long enough for him to say, I believe Pete Hegseth. I didn't see the video either. Let's play the video of Donald Trump in slow motion throwing Pete Hegseth under the bus. Play the clip.
I wanted to clarify something that you had said on Sunday regarding the boat strikes near Venezuela. You had said that you didn't know if the second strike on that one boat had happened, but you wouldn't have wanted it. Now that your administration has acknowledged that it happened, do you support that second strike?
As far as the attack is concerned, I still haven't gotten a lot of information because I rely on Pete. But to me, it was an attack. It wasn't one strike, two strikes, three strikes. Somebody asked me a question about the second strike. I didn't know about the second strike. I didn't know anything about people. I wasn't involved in it. I knew they took out a boat. But I would say this, they had a strike. I hear the gentleman that was in charge of that is extraordinary. He's an extraordinary person. I'll let Pete speak about him. But Pete was satisfied. Pete didn't know about second attack having to do with two people. I guess Pete would have to speak to it. I can say this. I want those boats taken out. And if we have to, we'll attack on land also, just like we attack on sea. And there's very little coming in by sea. I think we've knocked out over 90% of it. There's very little, and I understand that. There's very little. We're saving hundreds of thousands of lives with those pinpoint attacks. It's an amazing thing.
So this has gotten the attention of a bipartisan senators for the House Armed Services Committee, led by Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, the Republican senator from Mississippi, who are opening up an investigation about it. And the best that Pete Hegseth can come up with is that the admiral in charge of U.S. Special Operations gave the kill command, not him, but he was well within his rights. So he basically said, no, it wasn't me. It was the admiral who committed the war crime. Nothing like character in office, Pete Hegseth not taking responsibility. But in prior video clips, Pete Hegseth has said, oh no, I was involved in all of the early bombings and missile strikes of these vessels in the Caribbean. It is remarkable, the fact that people like Pete Hegseth, before they were in office, actually seemed to have some sort of moral compass, seemed to understand the code of military justice, seemed to understand the Nuremberg principles coming out of World War II, that you cannot follow unconstitutional, illegal orders of a person above you in the chain of command, including up to the highest person, the commander-in-chief. So what happened along the way, Pete? What happened? Why is it now okay for you to suggest that people should be court-martialed for treason because they tell the truth about the code of military justice? And what happened to the war crimes that should be prosecuted now that you are the person that's on the receiving end of that investigation? Now, Pete Hegseth has other problems besides that. Just today, the Office of Inspector General for the Pentagon released a report. Now, You're going to hear Pete Hegseth and others brag about the report. Totally exonerated Pete Hegseth. He didn't do anything. He didn't put anybody in harm's way. That's a lie. That investigation was about Signalgate back at the beginning of the administration when Mike Waltz, a then national security advisor, put together a Signal app chat, an unsecured chat on Signal with 18 members of the Trump administration, where they were all, including J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Stephen Miller, for whatever reason, and others, to talk about a top secret attack on the Houthi rebels in Yemen and about the military strike. And the Office of Inspector General said that is confidential information that put troops and airmen in harm's way because it could have been leaked. It was exposed, and yet the mission went forward. This was mission critical information that was exchanged on an unsecure communications app in violation of Pentagon policies. That's not an exoneration of Pete Hegseth. So the question is, with Donald Trump's faint praise for Pete Hegseth, is he going to survive to get to the House Armed Services Committee hearings, which are going to be very, very tricky for him? It's one thing for Pam Bondi and Epstein and Kash Patel on the Epstein matter to go in before the Judiciary Committee. We're talking about the Armed Services Committee, which does oversight for the entirety of the armed services. And these are people that, a lot of them, who were in the military. While the Joint Chiefs of Staff is being headed by General Dan Kane, we'll have to see how much independence the Joint Chiefs exercise in order to get to the bottom of this war crime. But every independent scholar who has looked at this issue, including conservatives, including those in the Federalist Society, have said these are war crimes. This is murder that has been ordered by Pete Hegseth and or the admiral for the U.S. Special Operations Command. So I think we wanted to bring this to your attention, show you what the latest news has been about the Pete Hegseth video that's been unearthed, and to hoist him up on his own petard here on Legal AF. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button, come over to Legal AF Substack, where if you join us for $7 a month, you can help keep the entirety of Legal AF on the air, so to speak, pay for our journalism and our fair commentary. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states, and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.